Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty serious show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as I'm sure the majority of you are aware, the NBA published some information yesterday by putting out a statement, which basically stated that they are going to suspend Ja Morant for 25 games. Immediately after the news came out, we actually did a live where we went to react to that story. And one of the reoccurring comments that I kept on seeing in the live was, just 25 games? Just 25 games? That's it? Just 25 games? They went too soft. They went too soft. They went too soft, right? And even when I gave my take on it, I thought that 25 was a little bit too small. I would have been cool with half a season, given just the nature of this particular case here. But nevertheless, I'm not in charge of that, right? That's a decision that the Commissioner Adam Silver and the NBA came to, right? So yesterday, I was kind of going through the internet looking to see who was discussing it. And on ESPN First Take, I came across a segment featuring Stephen A. Smith, who was on there with Adrian Wojnarowski. And apparently he was the one that first broke the story. So he brought in Woj to discuss it, to give us kind of the intricate details of this particular suspension. So as Woj was talking, he then went on to outline some other bits of information that I wasn't privy to, and some other wrinkles in this particular suspension, which basically states that Ja could actually be suspended for more games if he doesn't reach certain benchmarks. So for those of you who didn't hear this particular part of this story, what we want to do is want to quickly play what Woj and Stephen A. Smith had to discuss about this, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. So take a listen to that.
So we talked about those conditions for Ja Morant to be able to return after the 25 games. The league has now announced the suspension. What Adam Silver says in that announcement, that prior to Ja Morant's return to play, he will be required to formulate and fulfill a program with the league that directly addresses the circumstances that led him to repeat this destructive behavior.
So in other words, the 25-game suspension is minimum. It could potentially be more if those conditions are met.
Absolutely. And I think he is going to be under scrutiny through this process. How he responds, I think, with his organization in Memphis, with the league office, I think there are going to have to be changes in his life, in his habits. I don't think this is just about trying to avoid being on social media again with a gun. I think there's going to have to be, I think that's what Adam Silver is spelling out, there's going to have to be, I think, a clear demonstration that his behavior is changing. His life choices are changing.
Well, during Adam Silver's press conference, during the NBA Finals, when he addressed this, one of the things he alluded to, and it had everybody's antennas up, was when he said, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote, but he was talking about the investigation revealed a little bit more information. Any idea what he was talking about, Adrian Wojnarowski?
Well, you look through right now what the league has put out in their.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time, bro. Take your time.
No, it looks like, listen, second time now that that he had a gun in his possession. And I think what Adam Silver was alluding to there were that the facts that were lining up based on their conversations with witnesses, with the fact that the video was not doctored, all the things that you've got to look at initially, that Ja Morant did not have certainly an ability to explain away what happened. And again, he's been under investigation for well over a year on a number of different instances, many of them in that Memphis area. And this has been a constant situation for the league office, for the Grizzlies. And this was probably an inevitable result from any number of these instances.
Yeah.
Has the company he's kept been addressed, whether it's on the part of the NBA or the Memphis Grizzlies? I'm only asking that question considering the alleged incident in Indianapolis with the Pacers. Well, the incident's not alleged. What they specified to happen is alleged. But the incident with the red dot laser, whatever it was, in Indy and stuff like that, him being on Instagram, one of his boys was putting him on Instagram Live. Has any of that been addressed by the NBA or Memphis?
My understanding is yes, in a cumulative way, that is part of the conversation when you talk about habits, behavior, all the things that has gotten him back into this situation again. As Adam Silver said, essentially a repeat offense from earlier, from the springtime. That is part of the conversation, and that is, I think, what Ja Morant is going to have to demonstrate.
So you heard what Woj said. He said that the NBA now is going to be monitoring Ja Morant very, very closely to ensure that he meets certain requirements in order to display that he is ready to return to playing basketball. But then after that, Ja had actually released a statement where he said that he's going to be better. He's ashamed and he's going to try to be a better role model. And then shortly after that, the players NBAPA issued a statement where they were basically condemning this particular suspension. I'm just going to read quickly here from Sports Illustrated. It starts off with the headline: NBAPA issues firm statement on Ja Morant's excessive suspension. The National Basketball Association issued a firm statement in support of Ja Morant on Friday on the heels of the Grizzlies star receiving a 25-game suspension for holding a gun on Instagram Live in May. NBAPA Executive Director Tamika labeled the discipline imposed on Morant as excessive and inappropriate, citing specifically the NBA's requirements of the 23-year-old to fulfill unstated conditions before he can return. She went on to say and also declared that the NBAPA's intent to work with Morant going forward as he deals with the discipline. Ja has expressed his remorse and accepted responsibility for his actions, and we support him unequivocally as he does whatever is necessary to represent himself, our players, and our league in the best possible light. She continued, as to the discipline imposed, which keeps him off the court until December and requires some unstated conditions to be met before he can return. We believe it's excessive and inappropriate for a number of reasons, including the facts involved with this particular incident, and that it is not fair and consistent with past discipline in our league. So basically, that's what the article says, and it goes on to say a few other things. You guys, if you want to read about it, you can go hunt it down and read what it has to say for yourself. So let me continue on here. First of all, here are my thoughts on this. I think there's a bunch of jibber jabber being spewed all over the place. Number one, I didn't see the NBA Players Association, whatever you want to call it. I didn't see them come out to the defense of Kyrie Irving when the Brooklyn Nets and these guys all had come to some type of consensus, which was he was going to go through these steps to return to the court for posting a link on Instagram or on Twitter. I didn't see any of this outcry. So that means that there doesn't need to be precedent. That it seems like situations can be judged on an individual basis. And for people trying to look for, well, where's the president? This is the first time. Doesn't meet this based on this. No. In the case of Kyrie Irving, it didn't meet that particular suspension. And he got more. He actually got suspended for more games than Ja Morant originally did. So y'all can miss me with all of this, virtue signaling and how Ja Morant has been wrong. Man, please. People are picking and choosing. And in this case, they picked and they chose. In the case of Ja Morant, I think that what the NBA did is smart. I think what the NBA did is smart, and I think is absolutely fair in terms of putting requirements and milestones in place in order for him to ensure that he's ready to come back. Why? Because he's already exhibited a proclivity to go against his own word. And this was perfectly displayed when Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, discussed this with Malika Andrews of ESPN. He said he was jarred by the fact that Ja Morant came into his office, told him one thing, and went on to do the other thing. So what should they do? Just take him at his word again? No, they're going to okay, we're going to put measures in place to ensure that you're just not up here taking us for a very long ride. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I think some people need to just relax and stop and stop virtue signaling. And I don't think anything excessive has taken place here. But then again, these are just my thoughts. So what I want to know from you guys, number one, is what do you think about the report that Adrian Wojnarowski released? What do you think about the comments from the NBAPA? And what do you think about some of the things that we had to say in the show? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We definitely catch you guys on the next show. Peace.